Alright, so I just got Dilaudid. It is a narcotic, but it's a pain med, obviously. It helps actually really well. I got .4. The syringe says .5, but they drain some out before they give it. And I don't have an IV, I have what's called a PICC line. And I'll show you the PICC line in a minute. It's right here. It's basically a giant IV that goes into my heart. So, yeah, it's a 2-channel, it's a 2-port. Some PICC lines will be like 1 port. Do they have 3 ports sometimes? Yeah, they have 3 ports. They're color coded. There's the purple one, which is for medicine. The red one is usually for blood, but I'm not getting any blood transfusions, so they just use any one. Also, they're good for blood draws because they can draw back really well since it's so deep. Yeah. And yes, I was awake when they put these in. They gave me happy juice, but sometimes they just, they do it bedside. They'll inject lidocaine into your arm, numb it, and just go for it. They take a scalpel, cut a little slit, and then they'll take an IV needle and stick it in to the vein, and then once they get into the proper vein for it to go into the heart, they'll thread the tube. And I'm gonna leave a link, or I'm gonna explain my my Facebook page that I'm gonna create for chronically. Sorry, I'm still getting used to it. So yeah, this is it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to document my medication. I get that every 4 hours. Also, I'm having a fight with the pharmacy right now, because they don't want to do IV Tylenol. But the thing is, okay, that's it. I'm gonna do a whole explaining because I can't really. It needs to connect. Okay. So, I also have Crohn's. I've had a lot of surgeries in my life. I have free tattoos. Oh, no, they're not free. They're very expensive tattoos on my stomach. I've had an ileostomy, which is a colostomy bag, except for the ileum. Yes, there's an intestine called the ileum. I don't know if you guys know that or not. But basically, I've had 6 of them. I had 6-hour surgery as a kid, 16.5-hour surgery as a kid. Then I had a 4-hour surgery as a kid, and then I get scoped every year, at least once a year. Sometimes they'll do it twice a year, depending on how my Crohn's is doing. I know, my hair's a mess, I'm sorry. But, so a scope is like a colonoscopy, except I don't have a colon anymore. The surgeries I was telling you about, they removed my large intestine because it was so inflamed. So now, they took my small intestine, looped it in the shape of a J, sewed it together, cut the end off. Created a new rectum, so I could shit normally. But what they'll do is they'll do what's called a pouchoscopy, even though it's not really a pouch. And they'll go in and look for inflammation, just make sure there's nothing that's irritating my stomach. And before they go in, they say, how much pain are you in? Are you having bleeding? And Crohn's, basically what it is it's an autoimmune disease. Basically Crohn's makes your intestines really inflamed. And basically what happens is you start bleeding and it comes out your ass. But however, sometimes there's moderate, there's acute, there's moderate, and then there's small cases of Crohn's. That's very manageable. So the small version of Crohn's is very manageable. You can manage it with diet, medication, and yeah, you're all good. the moderate version, it's a little more tricky. You gotta kind of like balance out the medication. You gotta kind of just really take your meds constantly. You'll be in pain. That's the thing about moderate. You'll have chronic pain. But yeah, and with Crohn's, the only pain med you can take that's not a narcotic is Tylenol. So normally you'll take like 1,000 of Tylenol. But I was taking Tylenol 1,000 milligrams for 13 years. Well, it turned my shit white, and my liver levels were going up, which means it was affecting my liver. So, yeah. And yeah. And then the severe version of Crohn's, which is the one I have. When I was in the hospital as a kid, I was 8 years old when I was diagnosed. I was losing 16 ounces of blood a day. That's roughly 500 cc's in medical terms. And there was one hospitalization, which was really hard. I've had at least 80 hospitalizations as a kid. I was in the hospital at least twice a month, and if not, the whole month. And it was a whole month hospitalization because I kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and it wouldn't stop. And it was like 3 a.m. when I woke up and heard the doctor talking, and I didn't really know what he was saying until I acted like I was asleep because I wanted to hear what he was saying. I was hoping it was something good or something like that, because back then when I was like 8 years old, I didn't know that if a doctor comes in the middle of the night that it's bad. So I overheard them talking, and they said, "We're moving him up to the ICU because we don't think he's going to make it through the night." That was the hardest thing that I have heard. So they moved me upstairs to the ICU, and yeah, I sat there and woke up the next morning. They were like, that was a close call, and they did a colonoscopy. Then I did have a colon, which is the large intestine. So yeah, I had a colon. They did a colonoscopy, and what they found was like it was very, very severe. They found that my large intestine was hang on, my wrist. No. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, but it looks like raw hamburger meat, so they made the decision to remove it. That's when, at 10 years old, they did it, because it took about 2 years for me to get stable enough to go to an operating room, and that's when those 3 surgeries took place. They took place in the course of a year, and I had a colostomy bag for half of it, and then I had an ileostomy, because once they removed the whole colon, they gave me an ileostomy because there was no colon, obviously. So yeah, but that's about it. I'll give more information later. But yeah, once dinner comes, I will vlog that as well. Alright guys, love you. I'll post another vlog tomorrow, or tonight if the food is somewhat pleasant. But yeah. Alright, love you guys. Bye.